Hello and hey, today we're going to mess around with Path of Exile. This time I'm going to have a little update for my Winter Orb Elementalist guide. This is going to be basically just a skill tree. I'll talk a little bit about the gems, but I'm going to move through this quickly because I just want to take that other guide down because it's different enough that it could throw some people off. So, to point out, this is what the tree looks like from afar. We've taken out some of the more extraneous like cast speeds and extra damage situations going on and put it more into life, which I did agree with people from my comments. However, I still want to keep a lot of the freezing crowd control type of thing because I think this is a lot more fun for me to play. It's just going to be something I run with to enjoy. And so we'll get into that with the gems a little bit. This is, a good map runner because you can fly through the map, not really have to stop for that long, power up, run some more. It feels pretty dang good once you get going. I was able to get level 70 in a day. That's not a brag. That's just like, even I was able to do that. So it's pretty quick. It works. And we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the changes I've made. Also kind of just getting into it. So we'll go ahead and just back on out of this and make a new one. Hopefully as quick as we possibly can because I am very familiar with this tree by now, having gone over it so many times. So what I like to do is run up through the spell damage and then grab the life and start up the cold side of the tree. A lot of people don't like to do this, but because we're going all the way up here, I'm going to go ahead and do that. We come here, not because we like these stats so much, but because the dexterity we get, we can equip our Herald of Ice pretty early on, and that's pretty key. If you get some sort of dexterity gear, you can sort of circumvent that. Again, sorry if I'm going quickly. I need to put this one up quickly. My internet's been spotty, and I want to upload it, so I think it's going to take a really long time. So apologies on the quality. I will have some sort of build guide that is much nicer than either of these last two in the future. But as we move up this part of the tree, we're going to get all this life before heading over to the cold nodes. I like taking the left side first because I love seeing the effects of our crowd control earlier, and then the pure damage comes in after that, because if you're up here, you might as well take both, as long as you're not running some sort of elemental focus. And because we have so many points already, we do want to get down to the skill effect duration nodes. Make sure everybody can see that. We kind of came off this side. And we're going to grab all of these, which is about level 38 on our side of the thing. And we're going to have the Shaper node. I think this is very important because it allows us to skip off of Clarity at all, which I thought we might need with all our Heralds. But if we have this, I think it's just enough mana regeneration, despite us spamming Winter Orb to just have enough. We might need... yeah, actually, never mind. Not going to theory craft on the fly. That's good enough. We're going to go ahead and grab all these mana and life, jump up here to Elemental Overload, and from here you can kind of do whatever it is that you want. You can come down here and get this life. You can come over here, fill the left side of the tree out. I think I'd like to fill out basically the entire side of the tree. If we feel like we need life at any point in time, we can just come down here and at least grab the 14% and 5% here. I think that's a really good idea. But for the most part, I think it's just fine to grab some of the more basic casting life stuff. Damage, get resists here. You get the chance to freeze, shock, ignite, which is more relevant as we go deeper into our ascendancy. This is just a good node overall. It comes down to value, and most of these nodes are valuable. And then this isn't, a valuable node per se, but we path directly into another series of good nodes for us. So this is the series that I like to take. A lot of people will kind of skip this because you don't need all the damage. I like to put all the stuff on the gear as far as defense and health and energy shield and stuff like that. I don't want to run super serious, super endgame stuff. So this is just more of a for fun thing. If you're looking for the best sort of elementalist, you're probably going to run into this crazy blade vortex thing that's going around. But this is, like I said, kind of more for fun. Just kind of running more relaxed style. At some point, you are going to want to pick up this jewel socket, and we will get health here. But before we spend all those points, I'm going to go ahead and track us over to this node all the way over here, Fingers of Frost. The enemies become chilled as they unfreeze is huge. It helps us access some of our damage. We have increased chance to freeze them back up, that sort of thing. And that's where we're going to go straight to that, kind of pathing through, getting some life and energy shield nodes. Mostly this node is what we're stopping for, because we could have gone 1 point shorter, but that would just look silly. So we're not going to do that. And then we have plenty of nodes left, which we will go and grab some of this health. At any point in time, we are free to dump more points into this. And then we also want to come back up here, grab a little bit more damage, get some more mana regen and some more effect of chill. It's a little bonus on top of what we got going on here. At any point in time, we can also grab the area of effect and area of effectless damage. 20% of each of those for 2 points is an excellent value, which is why I'm going for that. And we have 10 points left, so we're going to go ahead and pump at least 6 of these here. And I have 4 left, so I'll probably just jump them in this. You don't have to go in this order whatsoever. After you get past the core where you hit the shaper, you're hitting some of this regen and then max life, that sort of thing, and definitely get elemental overload. After you hit that core, going any direction as far as this build goes is perfectly okay, and I like that a lot. The point that I'm missing is because at some point, if we don't have the dexterity, we're going to go ahead and just dump that in there right here because we've gone up here. That's kind of the way we wanted to go instead of kind of coming across. So that's why we're able to do that, which leaves us to level 92, which is exactly where we want to be. And of course, I need to go over the Ascendancy, which is just a simple that in that order. If you do want to go this order first, just finish that off. It is pretty important. It feels kind of awkward having just those two. Honestly, like you're not doing quite enough of either thing. So that's why I say just kind of go either this one, or if this one appeals to you, you can make it work. You just might have to wait for that third labyrinth a bit longer because it doesn't feel quite right, but at the same time, entirely up to you. So as we go ahead and jump right into the skill gems, again, sorry for going quick. It's just something I think we have to do to get this video out in time. I have a ton of choices here. This is also why I need to go quickly. We have Winter Orb, of course, a primary, absolutely necessary for a build. Greater multiple projectiles is absolutely necessary again. It ups our damage by, I think, 270% just off the base value. Someone can check the math on that. It's fine. We don't have it quite in POB just yet, and that's fine. But I think this is a required skill. Absolutely turns it from 1 to 5 shots. It's just something you need to do. The flat cold damage from added cold damage is fine, but you can also substitute in an ice bite, which is going to give us freeze chance. Although we have a ton of it already, and this is just more flat damage. Just absolutely freezing everything kind of already happens. And the things that can't be frozen are the things that are going to get you anyway. So it's more what you would like to do. I mean, maybe just for fun, probably have the ice bite situation. Hypothermia is a bit more damage, like literally the more damage percentage against chilled targets. But because it's against chilled, it could be a bit more situational because if you're one-shotting things, it doesn't come into effect at all, which why would it matter at that point anyway? But you get my point. It requires you to hit them twice, so just kind of heads up a hypothermia. When it comes to controlled destruction and concentrated effect, they are basically interchangeable. I found that very seldomly, if you're using concentrated effect, which is technically slightly more damage, you will miss out on a mob that just was just out of range of the shots. But that was before I even had the 20% area of effect. So after that, it's hard to tell. But I think you can just interchange these as you wish. This one you get to keep a little bit more of your crit chance, and this one you get to keep the big huge size on the actual explosions of the AOE of the projectiles. As we get down to these bottom three, they become a lot more interchangeable or situational. Efficacy is great for some duration. I have not actually tried it myself because it's just a sort of quality of life thing, and it has the lowest amount of damage added other than lesser multiple projectiles, which is technically more area. It does give more damage overall. It doesn't like reduce your damage somehow because of the less multipliers, but it's more fun. It's one of those things that I'll probably come out with like a more fun version of this build when I finally finalized it, when I'm actually up to like level 92, if I play that long in this league, but I assume that I will with this character just because I'm having that much fun with it right now. And it'll just be like some kind of snow globe, snowblower build where I have as many projectiles as possible and find like the snake pit or whatever that ring is that gives us an additional fork or whatever that happens. I'm not sure exactly how it works. I'll find out. If it does, it'll be a whole different situation. And I have cold penetration low on the list for this one because we have so much reduction already through our frostbite curse, through the tree itself, giving us 25 plus 6 plus 5, I believe. And if we keep the frost bomb in, that's another 25% off, and just almost nothing is going to have the sort of values that is going to require that level of reduction. You can absolutely put it in, but the frost bomb also takes up a slot on your, your limited keys. So it's just sort of a hit or miss for you sort of situation. The 4 link that I'm really liking that I had on the original build, this is a lot of fun. When he gets the big AoE of your ascendancy points, it feels great. If he gets a small one, the concentrated effect, it feels great because that's also 75% elemental damage. Just placing that down either before or after a winter orb like barrage hits a group, it will like guarantee the hit even on like a more extra life monster. Sorry, more monster, indeed. And then the other ones we want to talk about are the heralds, of course. You can go for ice for sure, thunder for sure. I don't know why I put that in between, especially with the red-green color blindness. I'm sorry, anybody who's red-green colorblind. The red one is just, and both red ones, I should say, Ash and Purity, are kind of more for the memes, so like the quad thing. The burn is nice. We don't have that much physical damage, so it's not going to be too crazy, but when it does ignite, it's going to be nice. The actual ignite, not the burn. Those are different things. Purity, again, is just kind of just, let's have 4 of them. Why not? We can have the reduced mana cost, so we can do that. The Lightning Golem, it just kind of gives us the best. It just does its thing, gives us some cast speed. It's great. I like Flame Dash. You got to have a faster casting on it. It does activate our Arcane Surge for that sort of thing. If we can allow the links, if it's not, I think it's our only really movement thing because I like kind of using wands more just to kind of give that spell damage more than elemental damage in case we want to use something else. But that's just me and my fun stuff. Like I said earlier, some of the more popular or common situation is going to be a Vol Blade Vortexing, that popping up by everybody else on YouTube. That was not me. It does make up for the single target weakness. I did kind of want to stay away from that for that reason, which is why I went for some totem cheese, which I think totems obviously are insanely strong in this particular league. I like to stay on the theme there with Ice Spear, but I might end up going with some sort of winter orb silliness on top of my own winter orb with as many totems as I can for that build I was talking about and that sort of thing. But anything that you're trying to do to raise your single target damage, you just want to do it so you can be on the move. And just anything where you're not standing in the same spot is the whole purpose of me latching on to Winter Orb so hard, because I played a freezing pulse build that I loved, just spraying down and constantly, stun locking, freeze locking everything. And I kind of want to do the same exact thing where I could just run through and do the same thing. It's been great so far. But the single target boss damage was so bad. Being able to kind of kite around with Winter Orb has been fantastic. Having totems to drop in the back line. They take some aggro occasionally. They do a lot of these great things for you. And, they don't crit with multiplier, even though the Ice Spear is going crazy. I thought they might be able to proc our Elemental Overload. Does not seem to be the case unless I was getting really unlucky when I was looking, because that is technically possible. But that is what it is. And I've rambled for so long. I apologize. People wanted me to talk about items. I ended up running my 3rd Labyrinth. I forget what that one's called, Merciless. And I did it with item level 53 average gear. So it's super simple to do as long as you're not running directly into traps like in the Azaro fight, that's kind of thing. And I also beat Act 10 very convincingly. I don't know what ever to say, if I should spoil that or not. I feel like I should, but the Act 10 boss, yeah, it's pretty simple. As long as you're just avoiding, and that's your primary focus, is avoiding, trying to keep as many Winter Orb stacks up as you can and avoiding. It feels great to play. You feel like you're kind of learning the fights, that sort of situation, getting better at them, kind of getting the tells, because you don't have to really pay attention to where you need to stand so much. It's just more kind of, you can watch the entirety of the fight, and it's a really cool build for that purpose. But I've talked you guys' ears off, and I apologize for that. Need to get this video out as soon as I possibly can, so good luck. Have fun. As always, thank you for listening. Be safe, guys.